hey, Demi, you better stop dropping all these leaks. They're going to ban your account. Man, full dynasty breakdown coming right now. Yo, chill. Okay, all jokes aside though, for real, don't ban me, yo. But look, hey, I'm always gonna be for the people, man. I'm always gonna give y'all exactly what you want. And at the end of the day, man, it's information that's been floating out there, and I'm gonna give it to you. But make sure you join my Discord, link in the description. Massive community in my Discord. We got over 2,000 people, college football, and of course NBA 2K, massive channels in there. A lot's going on. We're also going to be doing a new dynasty for 26. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure you go on my Discord and make it be known in the proper channels, okay? But anyway, check this out. Dynasty mode, all right? We're going to go through this. Again, there's a lot of information. First and foremost, the big one is that coaches now be able to get to a level 100, right? So no more just stopping at 50. So what does that mean? It means now you'll be able to basically become a CEO. You'll be able to get all those abilities that you've wanted. You'll be able to get them now. But the challenge would be now is trying to figure out what is the proper ingredients, okay? What is the proper ingredients? We all knew last year that it was, getting motivator, getting recruiter as your primaries. Then, some people like to try to go to the master motivator, the elite recruiter, and then they try to sprinkle in, a little bit of this. So regardless, we're going to figure that out. But now let's just go ahead and take a look at what everybody's been basically waiting for is the abilities of all these coaches. Okay, so first, let's take a look at this one here as a recruiter. As you can see, the tier 1, it says advanced look, quarterbacks take less time to fully scout. Well, guess what? That's the same how it was last year as a tier 1, okay? So as you can see here, on the left will be our the new recruiter, and then on the right will be the old, okay? So you can see exactly what's going on here. Then you have tier 2 is the magnet personality, all right? Increased starting interest from QBs. Well, guess what? Tier 2 last year was recruiting actions have bigger impacts on QBs, okay? Then this year it says Portal King. Quarterbacks transfers are more interested. Why is that so important? Because Talent Developer had that last year. So if you remember, Talent Developer is the one that had the recruiting, the whole Portal King as a tier 1. Well, now it's a tier 3 in recruiter. Okay, and then of course the magnet tier 4 would be the persuasive personality, increases chances to sway quarterbacks. Well, guess what? Last year it was the same. It increased interest. It was different because it increased starting interest from the quarterbacks. So basically, the tier 4 from last year is now the tier 2 from this year. And then the Portal King is now been put into the recruiter. And then, of course, the increased chances to sway quarterbacks, that right there is a new one also, okay? Now, thing I want to point out, which I started pointing out at the beginning, is that now starting off, it is 8. It costs 8, right, coins. Whereas last year, these were all 5. So even though now your coaches can get a lot higher overall, the starting points is going to cost more for these, okay? Now let's go ahead and take a look at the elite recruiter portion of it, okay? Is that the ideal situation is tier 1. It boosts to ideal pitch grades for quarterbacks, all right? And then again, as you remember last year, the tier 1 was lasting impression. Quarterbacks gain additional interest for every 10 hours spent, all right? So then now you see now tier 2 here is upsell quarterback. My school grades have a larger impact on quarterbacks. So guess what? It's the same as last year, okay? So now, those two actually match up. Tier 3 is going to be most influential. Recruiting actions have bigger impacts on quarterbacks, whereas last year tier 3 was boost to pipeline bonus for QBs, okay? And then of course this year, for the new one coming up for 26, is always be cooking, increased weekly hours, recruiting hours for QBs, whereas tier 4 was boost to ideal pitch grades for QBs. So as you can see, there is differences galore when it comes to these, okay? We're going to keep on rolling through. Again, I do not want to sit this and make this too long-winded, but it is going to be long because it's a detailed breakdown, okay? So this year, again, 8 points instead of 5. Tier 1, reach your potential quarterback. Interest boost for quarterback recruits when a current quarterback hits a skill cap. So hitting a skill cap will actually increase the boost for your QBs that you're recruiting, whereas last year it was bonus XP for QBs when QBs are drafted in the top 3 rounds. Number 2 says tier 2 is hot hand. QBs stay hot through timeouts quarter change and across games, guess what? It's the same tier 2 as last year. Put in work. QBs get an off-season training boost. Well, guess what? It's the same as last year. So, of course, a lot of people are going to be reaching for that. We all know that. That was very OP last year. So now unless they nerfed it, I see a lot of people still trying to hit tier 3. And then tier 4, locked in QB. QB stays, QB start the fourth quarter high and close games. That is the same as last year also, okay? So again, they made subtle changes, and to me, once you have a whole year under your belt, you know what works and what doesn't work, and you have a better understanding of what people are doing. So they're making these adjustments based upon how everybody was taking advantage of it, or there just wasn't enough people interested in other abilities, and we're gonna talk about that in a second. So then now we're looking at the Master Motivator. Master Motivator, tier 1, QBs recover faster from injury. That's the same. Tier 2, family atmospheres. Quarterbacks are less likely to transfer. Again, that is completely different because last year it was extra gear quarterback. QBs get boost to toughness, stamina, and injury. And then tier 3 for this coming year is going to be everybody eats. Increase all XP gains for quarterbacks. That is the same as last year. And this is what people tried to do last year. Some people decided to go a different direction. Other people wanted to try to hit that tier 3 as master motivators. Others decided to go a different direction. But again, we already know that people had different directions as far as once we got to this point. And some individuals wanted to go to Architect, whereas other individuals want to go tier 3 here, okay? Then tier 4 is Icy Veins. Quarterbacks start games with a composure boost, which is actually pretty dope. Whereas last year it says quarterbacks start the fourth quarter hot, and a composure boost is way much better than starting hot, okay? Especially if you're on the road, okay? So that is the differences there. So keep in mind, you know, the 12 points for tier 1 is also going to be 12 points for 8 points for tier 1, 12 points for tier 2, whereas last year it was 5 points for tier 1 and 8 points for tier 2. Okay, so again, subtle changes, but at the end of the day, they're still pretty dope, all right? So what we saw with the Technician is that actually nothing changed with the Technician. Everything is the same from Scheme Guru to Technician, other than the fact is that now, of course, that the tier 1s for the Technician is going to be 8 points, and then of course the Scheme Guru portion of it will now be 12 points, but it is all the same. Nothing has changed when it comes to the Technician portion. Now again, we went through it and I was late, but if you saw something different, by all means let us know. But from what we saw, nothing changed at all, okay? So now let's go ahead and take a look at Talent Developer. All right, so we already know Talent Developer is going to have changes, okay? Because now you see for tier 1, it says pay it forward, bonus XP for quarterbacks when drafted in the top 3 rounds. Well, guess what? That used to be tier 1 for Motivator, but now it's tier 1 for Talent Developer. So you can already tell you're going to have to bounce around a little bit because you definitely going to want to have that. You see what I'm saying? There's no way, shape, or form you're not going to try to get that one. So we already know Talent Developer is something you're going to have to open up. So off rip, we know that you're going to be opening up your recruiting abilities, you're going to be building up your motivator abilities, and you're also going to be building up your Talent Developer at least to tier 1. But guess what? Keep on going. So then tier 2 says QB Whisperer. Lower rated quarterbacks will progress faster. To me, that is massive. Okay, that is your 3-star gym that you are in a big major program, and you were like, yo, I really love this 3-star gym because he has, you know, Field General Platinum, and he's a scrambling cornerback. You know, his arm strength is terrible and his accuracy is terrible, but I can really develop this guy. I want him on my program. Guess what? That is something that you can do. We don't even the Talent Developer from last year, tier 2 was, you know, interest boost for QB recruits. When a quarterback QB hits a skill cap, we already know where that comes from now. That is going to be on Motivator on this year too. So they flipped them all over the place. Tier 3, Star Maker. Starting quarterbacks will gain XP faster. Hello? Like, duh. Heck yeah, I want that one. So you can already tell there's going to be a lot of, you know, guys and gals sitting in Discord, you know, doing all these simulations, trying to figure out what is the best ability to build, the abilities for a coach, because Talent Developer is definitely going to be one where people are going to have a lot of interest in and try to figure out if it's going to be something there, because we already know, I feel like tier 1 and 3 is already good, but then tier 4 is where it gets really good. Boost to pipeline bonus for quarterbacks. All right, so again, that's where you have to ask yourself, because last year that was in program builder. So again, to me, I feel like if the boost is going to be massive enough, and of course, we'll get these guys and gals, playing simulation all dang on day and figure out like, I'm not gonna lie, tier 4 for talent developer, that's where it's at. You're gonna get the most boost ever, So again, you're welcome. I feel like that is going to be a point where a lot of people are going to have a lot of interest in the talent developer aspect of it, okay? So now let's take a look at Architect. Now, Architect last year was really good because the tier 3 from last year when QBs earned XP bonus for every 3-game win streak was really good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the tier 2 limitless, which was changed to increase your random skill cap when leveling up, was really good. So this year, they made some changes. Now check this out. Can't stop, won't stop. QBs earn an XP bonus for every 3-game win streak. That is off rip. Last year, that was a tier 3. And to be honest with you, the XP bonus was massive. Massive last year. If it's going to be the same XP, then guess what? You're going to want that one too. I'm not going to lie. So I'm already talking about 4 different coaches' ability categories that you're going to want. Now you can see how even you have now your coach can get to a level 100. You're going to see that you're still probably going to run out of points. I don't know what each upgrade is going to give you. What if it's just a lot of questions, right? But at the end of the day, that one you're going to want. Then it says tier 2 field study. QBs earn additional XP for in-game goals. Again, that's a big one. Last year, it was chance to increase your random skill cap when leveling up. Well, guess what? Now that's tier 3. So tier 2 last year is now tier 3 this year. Chance to increase your random skill cap when leveling up. And the reason why they moved that down to tier 3 is because that one was OP as crap. And if you didn't know, now you know. If you're still playing 25 Dynasty, Architect to me was the best category to have for developing players in Dynasty mode, especially if you're above average player and you can get 3-game winning streaks, right? Again, especially in user dynasties, because I would have 5-star QBs, 5-star running backs, and that type of sort. But they'll still have like 1 or 2, 3 skill caps there, and it's, a lot of people love to change the direction on platinum, right? A lot of people love the spin cycle, trying to get that on platinum, but you could never really get spin cycle on platinum. Well, I got spin cycle on platinum on most of my 5-stars and 4-star running backs because of the chance to increase a random skin cap. It will allow that skill cap to finally get off, and then they'll be able to hit that tier to where you can get platinum. So again, this is going to be really big. I'm going to be using Architect again, and tier 4 is chance to increase the best skill cap with a conference or national title. Now you tell me, if you're sitting there and you want to be able to get that platinum badge, and this is going to be it. Now again, it's all based upon skill. Now if you're playing against CPUs, you can easily get the national championship. But for me, I have a 32 league dynasty. Again, if you check my Discord, if you want to be a part of it, let it be known, because we're going to start filling that roster up quick. But if you're playing against a lot of other users, a conference and national title is going to be difficult, but you can be able to knock it out of the park if you're able to win it, because now you get to the best skill cap, which again, the best skill cap for some quarterbacks and running backs, especially for scrambling, that's like 14 points to be able to get it. So if you're able to just get that automatically just by winning a championship for all your players across the board, that's big. Okay, so again, I can already tell you that they made adjustments to where every single coaching ability has something there that you're going to want. So you're going to have to try to figure it out yourself. Is this going to be worth it? Like, is there going to be something to where you're definitely going to have to sit there and make some adjustments? But again, like I said, I'm not the type of person to off rip just try to know what exactly is it, because we don't know how much of the impact each one of these categories are going to make, and that's where it comes down to. Okay, and then next we have strategists. Okay, so strategists, again, is a category that, I be honest with you, I didn't use a lot of. Okay, so if tier 1 is going to be making friends, boosted complimentary visits for quarterbacks, that's the same as last year. Hospitality, tier 2, visits have a bigger impact on quarterback prospects, that's the same as last year. Tier 3 is where things change. Quarterbacks have a lower deal breaker threshold, Whereas last year was last dance, bonus interest for every visit a quarterback has taken before visiting you. So again, this is where things start to get juicy, because I feel like quarterbacks having lower deal breaker threshold is going to be important, especially when we heard from the dev team themselves that recruiting is going to be a lot harder this year. Do not expect to have 15 or 5 stars on your team. So it's going to be very difficult. You're going to have to really strategically, no pun intended, as we're in the strategist category, but strategically figure out where do you truly want to attack and what do you want to be. A lot of this might have to be put up and held down by your assistant coaches. So that's another aspect that we can talk about another time. But then the last one says mind reader, increased chance to learn dev trait of QBs while scouting. To be honest with you, I don't really care about that unless for some reason, shape, or form, the game makes you, or there's a true benefit behind that. But that's a lot of points to be trying to spend to get there. Now, even though your coach can't get to a level 100, so keep that in mind. You know, maybe there is a mathematical equation to where you're like, you know, all this makes sense to get. But again, strategists still out of all the other categories, this one still feels like the least, impactful. But at the end of the day, you know, we still got to take it one day at a time and figure this all out. Okay, so now let's work our way to the program builder. Okay, so for the program builder, first let's look at the roster, roster retention. Again, it says tier 1 is best advice, and this keeps the 3rd and 2nd round pick. But now look at tier 2. Let's run it back. Players with a 2nd round draft projection are less likely to go pro. Now again, last year, I can't remember which one that was. I don't know if that was in the CEO position. I can't really think about it off top, but at the end of the day, that was actually in roster retention, but that was your tier 3 last year. So I'm tripping. So yeah, now tier 2 this year was tier 3 last year, and then now tier 3 is delay Sunday. 1st round projected players are less likely to go pro. That for a fact I know was at the CEO. So now they brought down one of the CEO attributes and dropped it down in the roster retention. And remember, last year program builder, all their coins was 12. This year it's 16. So it's a lot more expensive. But at the same time, roster retention is going to, remember, if it's already hard to recruit players and you're not able to get all these 5 stars, in my mind, immediately I'm thinking we are going to want to keep as many players and delay them from going to the draft as possible. So I'm just thinking off rip right now that roster retention is going to be something that is going to be very important for this upcoming game, because again, it's hard to recruit and get the top talent. You're not gonna be able to just stockpile like you did last year. Okay, now another change is going to be in the stability improvements. Okay, so tier 1, it says forever home. Coordinators are less likely to leave in the coaching carousel, whereas last year it was persistent boost to job security. We don't know how how crazy it's going to be in the coaching carousel. Our coordinators, if you're winning a lot of games, or your coordinators going to be leaving. So again, this might be important. We don't know. So right now I'm thinking like, I don't know if this is going to be big, but why would they create so much with this? Because look at tier 2. Coordinators are more likely to accept your job offer. Hot coordinators are more likely to accept it. Again, it doesn't sound juicy right now, but maybe it is. Once we get on the game, we realize how volatile the coaching and assistant coaches coaching carousel is. And then tier 3, cream of the crop, increase the caliber of the coordinators available for you to hire. All right, so again, last year it was lower the bar contract. So again, last year was just terrible. I don't think anybody ever mentioned anything about none of the tiers. This year it might be the same. I don't know if, again, the vitality of these coaching, but again, we just have to wait and see. All right, now we also have faster progression. So faster progression, as you're going to see, the tier 1 is the same as last year, but tier 2, this is different. Portal preview, able to see other schools at-risk players in my school. Now again, doesn't sound big, but again, we know it's hard to retain players, recruit players, and have like a stockpile of top talent. So again, working through the portal is huge. And I do like the idea if they are trying to make the portal very, very, very important, because let's be honest, I'll say like almost 90% of programs are in the portal heavy, recruiting talent, stealing talent, whatever you can say. So to me, I feel like that is something that's going to be huge. So this might be a really big one, but again, we don't know. And then it says friends and family discount. Archetypes are cheaper if owned by another coach. I'm not gonna lie. That one right there might be worth it because you can already see how much how much more expensive all these different tiers are. So that might be another big one to utilize. Again, I don't know. We have to wait until the game comes out, but it is something that's very intriguing to me, okay? So with that being said, relationship builder and strong roots are the same. Okay, so they did not change. And to be honest with you, those were some of the most important. Those are the tiers that I did. I remember on Strong Roots, I always did tier 1 with the giving back, boost to your primary pipeline. And then of course, I also did with relationship builder. I used tier 1, 2, and 3 because I wanted to upgrade my pipelines. And remember, like I said, they're all the same this year. Nothing has changed, so that's why I don't have the visual for it. It just wasn't a need to. I didn't want to waste no time with that, okay? So now let's go ahead and take a look at, to me, which is very, very critical this year, and that is going to be the CEOs, okay? All right, so now let's take a look into all the CEO stuff. I'm telling you right now, it is completely different. So now you look at the CEO on the top left, it's called Gains Getter. Increase the chance that a player upgrades their dev trait. Like, all the CEO stuff is fire. I'm letting you know right now, straight heat, okay? So increase the chance that a player upgrades their dev trait. Like, what? Just imagine if they were a normal dev, now they able to get to, you know, elite, or I don't know how much, maybe it's, you go up by 1, but to me, that is insanity, okay? That's fire, okay? Fire, right? I don't even know what to say. I just know that that is straight fire. Like, when I saw that one, I said, yo, that's crazy. I need that one, all right? Check this one out. CEO, it says second chance keeper. Spend a second persuade on the player if the first fails. Again, that's nothing new, but it wasn't something that we had like, oh, I gotta have this one, right? So I'm not really sure if that's gonna be that big of a trait that I want to get, but at the end of the day, we do not know. Remember, we don't know the volatility of some of this, you know, transferring and players and trying to recruit. If it's really difficult, then of course, that's gonna really be important. So I'm thinking in my head that they're not gonna put, last year there was a lot of different stuff within the coaching abilities that people didn't even touch. So this year, I'm assuming that they're gonna put something in there. It probably is value to it. So yes, it might be a really good one this year. And then you get right here, it says lasting impression. Gain additional interest for every 10 hours spent. Remember, that was something that was in Recruiter last year, and now it's up here, and it looks like it's going to be a banger, like something that you're going to want to have. Oh, now also I want to keep in mind, I forgot to mention that now there's 16 instead of 18. So keep that in mind. So this is actually 2 points cheaper. So it's 16 instead of 18. But yeah, so lasting impression is going to be one. Then we have another one here. It says more the merrier. Increase the number of players who can visit in a week to 8. So wow. Obviously, if recruiting is difficult, you're going to want this one. For obvious reasons. So this gives you a massive advantage. Now you're able to have 8 recruits in a week. So yes, that is something that I highly recommend to use, and I think a lot of people are going to use that, unless for some reason we find a crazy formula to where, you know, everybody's still able to recruit and get 15 players, 5 stars, then of course it wouldn't mean anything. But in a user versus user league, and everybody knows what that's going to be an advantage, okay? Then right here we have gasoline. Players start hot in top 5 rivalry bowl and championship games. Again, I never really touched those because I never really cared about starting hot. I just felt like, okay, cool, whatever, I'll get hot. Like, I'm not gonna make that many mistakes, but that could be something important to you. Last dance, it says bonus interest for every visit a player has taken before visiting you. So that's crazy. Bonus interest for every visit a player has taken before you. So it's almost like, yeah, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? You know, your man's got to recruit on week 3, and then someone else got on week 4, and you got to wait till week 5, and you're like, all right, cool, keep on doing that, because hell, they might visit on week 4 and actually come to me. I might be able to sign them to come to me, because every single time they visiting someone else, they're getting I'm getting bonuses for that. So I love that. I like that. That's actually kind of fire. So yeah, keep that one in mind. Then we also have Dream School. It says a chance to instant commit when offering scholarships at their top school. Again, I didn't really use this last year. But like I said, if the dev said it's gonna be hard to recruit, this might be the one. I'm not gonna lie. That might be one that you want to look at. Then we also have bundle discount. It says discount on coach abilities when another coach has the same ability. That's gonna be very important. We already saw the other discounts for the assistant coaches. So this right here is gonna be a big one in my opinion. And then last but not least, we also have senior superlatives, increase all skill caps by 1 for rising seniors. So as you can tell, I went through all the coaching abilities. There is a lot of things to get excited about. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I felt like, you know, having higher coaches levels able to be higher up to 100, and then, you know, obviously upping the ante on some of these categories. Very interesting in a lot of them. Again, I'll let you guys be able to start deep diving and thinking strategically what is the best you know, web to build one of these coaches, and I'm interested to see how that goes. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, just make sure you drop a like, you subscribe to the channel, join my Discord, link in the description. But other than that, it's your favorite old head, Uncle Demi. I'll be back really soon with the banger, man. You know, when I say back soon with the banger, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about tomorrow, man. I'm out.